Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance, meaning we're all actually ignorant to a great extent in one way or another that we just don't want to recognize it or admit to our own ignorance, arrogance, mediocrity, pride, vanity, corruption, etc., and also our desire and constant craving and want for validation, attention, approval, success, money, fame, riches, pleasure, entertainment all the time from all the external sources, outside circumstances, societal encounters, and public conditions that drains ultimately our own energy. And because of this drainage and sacrifice and compromise of our own energy, quality, virtue, boundary, we ultimately inevitably do not have anything to lose because we have got nothing. We can no longer relate to ourselves because we've given up everything in exchange for pleasure, government, installment of societies, etc. And obviously, real knowledge is the ability to consider, regard, respect the extent of one's own ignorance, and that it is only through ignorance and confidence that one can achieve and become successful, great, significant, established, relevant, significant, virtuous in their lives, and not through possession, influence, money, riches. But obviously, real knowledge is the ability, the power to always recognize ignorance in the world as an ever present, everlasting entity or condition that's fundamentally connected with the human nature and condition. And because we're humans, because we're living organisms, we're always going to have to deal with ignorance and suffer from ignorance and lack of information. And that is what is going to motivate us and serve as a fundamental force and driver of our acquisition, pursuit, and chase of more and more knowledge, character, wisdom, intelligence, success, reach, respect in our lives. So, without the existence of ignorance, there would have been no breakthroughs, knowledge, critical thinking, originality, concept, ideology, success, inventions in the world. So, it's because of ignorance in the human nature, also as a fundamental, inseparable, intricate entity, that we have been able to make and progress so much development, invention, science, technology, AI in our lives, and also our individual growth, learning happens because of the insurmountable condition of ignorance, because of our ignorance, not as a bad thing, but as the limiter of knowledge and the inspirer, motivator of more and more knowledge in our lives. And because we're ignorant, we're able to realize this. And because we're able to achieve the realization of our own ignorance, mediocrity, vanity, we also seek and pursue more and more knowledge in our lives because all men by nature desire knowledge. So it's the extent of one's ignorance that makes real knowledge possible. And ignorance is good and bad at the same time. Now, dwelling in ignorance is bad by not attaining knowledge. Now,